Hello and welcome back to Sano Yuta. Couple things before we start this episode. First off, I want to apologize for not being able to complete the scheduled videos. I was just really busy that weekend. But on the contrary, this whole week I'm going to be pretty free, so I should be able to record more than usual. Which, I mean, won't matter to you guys, but if I can finish this and have, all the videos ready, then it gives me time to set up for the next visual novel. So there won't be a delay. Secondly, the audio quality in my voice might sound better. I was going to buy a new microphone because my voice sounded really compressed on my headset. But then I figured out, why not try my webcam mic? And it works. The only thing is that there's no compression at all, so my keyboard clicks are gonna be a lot louder. But I think that's a good sacrifice for better audio quality. But eventually maybe I'll buy an actual microphone. But this is a nice cheap alternative. I also got a new keyboard. I haven't set it up yet, so maybe that one might be quieter. I'll do that for the next time I record. It was a gift. I didn't buy it because that wouldn't make much sense since I was just talking about saving money. Thirdly, for some reason my game lost the last couple of saves, so I only had my save file from episode 3 or 4. So I had to zoom past everything again, but it's not too bad. It goes actually pretty fast. Anyways, I think that's good enough. Last time, Saya kind of baited Yotu coming over, then she sexually assaulted her. And now we're back to Kouji and Fuminori's road trip, so let's see how this goes. It has begun to snow by the time they pass Utsunomiya on the Tohoku motorway. Sitting in the passenger seat, Fuminori is gazing out of the frosted window in silence. He's been in this trance-like state for almost an hour now. Taking advantage of his inattention, Kouji stares unabashedly at Fuminori from the corner of his eye. He still doesn't understand the true meaning of the danger signals that he's been getting from Fuminori. Fuminori has stopped avoiding him, and he's even looking Kouji in the eye when he talks. So why does Fuminori seem even more distant now than he did when he was trying to push Kouji and the others away? Fuminori is noticeably relaxed as he stares off into space, but his gaze never wavers. It's as though he is focused on a single, definite future that he has chosen to bring about, one that has no place for the needs or wants of others. Right now, Fuminori is complete. Kouji can't help but feel that beneath his bland exterior is a core of solid steel that no one can touch. Kouji says suddenly, as though trying to gauge Fuminori's reaction. Fuminori replies curtly, still staring into the distance. Fuminori's tone is completely emotionless, as though Kouji just asked him a question about the weather or the condition of the mountain roads near their destination. Whoops. Fuminori answers in exactly the same way that he did when Kouji first questioned him following Omi's disappearance.
まるで気にかけてないみたいだな。
そんなことないさ。
Finally, Fuminori shows some emotion, looking as though he can't believe Kouji could think such a thing.
彼女、僕の家に来る途中でいなくなったんだろ。
Sudden frustration wells up inside Kouji. If possible, he'd like to beat Fuminori until he reveals everything that's going on inside of that head of his. Kouji and Omi were lovers, and he's worried sick about her. To have his concern brushed off so coldly would be unbearable, even coming from a complete stranger. But from Fuminori, who was his best friend, it's... Fuminori never used to be this callous. Even if Kouji tried to interrogate him, he'd probably never find out what changed him so completely. If Fuminori were still hiding inside the shell he erected around himself after the accident, Kouji might have been able to get some answers out of him. With the sly, evasive Fuminori, however, there's nothing Kouji can do. Fuminori will never reveal his true intentions, not to anyone. All that's left then is for Kouji to discover the truth by himself.
オウミはな、筑波のことでお前に話があったんだ。
Fuminori smiles bitterly at the mention of Tsukuba's name, perhaps feeling sympathy for her pain. To Kouji, however, it seems as though he's coldly pitying some inferior creature.
筑波さんか。参ったね。まあ、あんなことがあった後だからさ、最近声がかけづらくて。
Unbelievable. If Fuminori's feelings for Yo were really this ice cold, then he would have rejected her when she confessed to him, but he didn't, or at least the Fuminori before the accident didn't. Once again, Kouji can't help but wonder if the man who looks like his friend is really a different person who only possesses the memories of Satisaka Fuminori. When they get off the West Nasu Flats interchange, the snow that Kouji was worried about has stopped falling. This area must already be getting a lot of snow. However, as the nearby mountains are covered in white beneath the trees, by the time they turn off the national highway and enter the mountains, road conditions are already bad enough for Kouji to regret having forgotten tire chains. Nevertheless, he continues to power his Accord up the precarious slopes with only a road map for a guide. In a place like this, an address alone isn't enough to pinpoint a location. The only choice is to drive down every road, including private roads that aren't even on the map, while searching for something that matches the photograph.
本当にこんな場所に別荘なんてあるのか。
人目につかないところだからこそ、大貝教授は気に入ったはずなんだ。
The more he hears about Ogai, the less Kouji wants to meet him. Fuminori is the one who spots the narrow road half hidden in the trees. It's practically an animal trail, overgrown with weeds that are tall and strong enough to withstand the weight of the snow.
これ、本当に道か？
Ooh, I wonder how the train's gonna sound with this mic. Probably bad. We'll just not talk over that. Kouji stops the car and sticks his head out of the window to stare into the dark forest, but he can't see where the path leads through the tightly packed trees.
写真だとどう見える？
Fuminori hands Kouji the photo, which he compares to the mountain ridges visible beyond the trees. Very sly Fuminori, since he probably can't tell with his vision.
なるほどな。アングルは間違いない。
行ってみよう。
Fuminori's tone is as flat as always, but there is a quiet intensity in his voice that leaves no room for argument. Kouji is worried that his car's suspension won't be able to handle the terrain, but there's no turning back now. Shifting into second gear, he drives down the frozen road. The sun sets early at high altitudes. As the car creeps up the mountain path, Kouji catches glimpses through the trees of the gradually darkening sky. The forest is completely still, with no sound save for the rumble of the accord's engine and the crackle of snow and brush being crushed beneath its tires. Fuminori's once again staring silently through the front window. In the ominous silence, Kouji feels the same faint chill that he felt when standing before Ogai's suburban home. It feels wrong, as though some primal instinct is warning him that he is traveling deeper and deeper into another world. After some time, a blocky shape suddenly appears amid the trees, standing out against the twilight sky. That looks fucking spooky. I mean freaking. My bad. Didn't mean to swear. Yeah, that looks like a cabin from a horror movie. Nice car sound effects. Kouji turns off the car and compares the structure in front of him to the picture in his hand. A perfect match. Before he can tell Fuminori, however, his silent friend is already out of the car.
Oi.
Ooh. That actually looks really nice. Even the background kind of looks like the... I don't know what it's called. It's when they take a picture, then they redraw it. Like with the picture as an outline. I don't think it... I mean, it is sketching, but I think there's another term for it. But that's what this looks like anyways. Because those trees look super realistic. Realizing that it's pointless to call out to him, Kouji shakes his head. That scared me. I can literally hear someone like opening their window. Maybe a neighbor or the person below me. My condo. Jeez. Where was I? Kouji shakes his head, grabs the flashlight from the glove compartment, and follows Fuminori across the snow-covered front yard to the cabin. The photo must not have been taken recently, as the old, run-down cabin before them has clearly been left to the mercy of the elements for some time. The front door appears locked, but Fuminori kicks it down without a second thought. Kouji just watches, knowing that nothing he could say now would matter. All of the windows are shut with heavy curtains, throwing the inside of the cabin into thick gloom. Fuminori turns... Excuse me. Oh my god. Fuminori turns on his own flashlight and starts rummaging through the cabin without regards for its owner's privacy. I really hope Fuminori doesn't kill Kouji. I feel like he is going to kill Kouji just because he wants this to be a complete secret, and if Kouji knows about it, then it's a danger to both him and Saya. Poor Kouji. Kouji is reluctant to do the same, but it's obvious that this mountain retreat has been abandoned for a long time, just like the house in Tokyo. Seeing no point in being considerate now, he goes to search a different room. Soon after entering the cabin, however, he realizes that the search is meaningless. There's nothing inside but the bare necessities of life. Some rooms are even completely empty, save for a thick layer of dust covering the floor. Of what few pieces of furniture are present, more than half appear to have never been used. There's an empty chest of drawers without a single scratch or handprint, but bearing the telltale signs of mold and moisture damage. Condition of the cabin is eerie, though in a different way than the filthiness of the house in the city. It felt someone put together a mock-up of a home and then left it to decay. The only sign that anyone lived here are found in the toilet, the bath, the kitchen, and in the bedroom. It appears that the cabin was never used for anything but eating and sleeping. Beneath the darkened sky, the snow-covered land itself seems to be glowing with a cold, white light. The scene is like something out of a fairy tale, but to Kouji, it only serves as an unpleasant reminder that he has stepped outside the reality that he knows. Next to the front porch is a plain wooden door, half buried into the ground. It's locked, of course, but Kouji sees no reason for the restraint after what Fuminori did to the front door. Train. Okay. The door offers surprisingly little resistance to Kouji's heavy kick, breaking open easily to reveal a set of concrete stairs leading down into a pitch-black basement. Kouji would prefer to leave searching such a suspicious place to Fuminori, but it's not like he can just ask him to do so. With the beam of his flashlight leading the way, Kouji descends into the chilly darkness. There turns out to be nothing in the basement but a storage room and a boiler. Exactly what one would expect to find in an isolated mountain cabin. The few packages of preserved food sitting on the shelves have long since passed their expiration dates, and the boiler doesn't appear to have been used in years. To Kouji, Okai's mountain home seems to have been abandoned longer than the house in Tokyo. Was Fuminori simply mistaken when he said that Okai might be here, or was he lying from the beginning? Not sure what to do next, Kouji goes back up the stairs and walks around the outside of the cabin, and there he finds the backyard. Okay, dude, a well. Wells are never good in any horror sense, ever. Oh my god. It's been in much worse condition than the front yard. Having already been mostly reclaimed by the forest, it must have been abandoned even when the cabin was still in use. The remnants of a woodshed lie in the yard, the mushrooms growing on it speaking to how much time has passed since its collapse. Next to the rotten logs, however, stands a circle stone that has not yet succumbed to the elements. Oh well. It has no bucket or pulley, of course. When Toji carefully approaches and looks into it, he sees that the water is no longer flowing. It's probably less than 10 meters deep, depending on how much mud is piled up inside of it. Koji's search of the cabin has revealed nothing of interest, inside or out. Leaning against the edge of the well. Not a good idea. Koji wonders why Odai brought this remote home deep in the mountains and what he was doing here. As far as Koji can tell, there's no sign that more than one person stayed here for any length of time. Fuminori's words play back into Koji's head. Could this have been some sort of secret refuge, or could it have been used to keep things hidden from the world? If so, that would explain why there's nothing to suggest that whoever lived here did anything more than eat and sleep. Kouji suddenly remembers the doctor he met yesterday at T University. Maybe she knows something. He takes out his phone and calls up the newly stored number. There's barely a signal, but it manages to get through. Koji's hopes are soon dashed, however, when his call goes straight to Dr. Tambo's voicemail. He considers calling back later, but realizes that it would be hard to talk to her with Fuminori around. Fuminori would not be at all pleased to find that Kouji and Yo went to see his doctor. Kouji decides that he better tell Doctor what he can while he's still alone.
どうも、殿Koujiです。
Oh,
昨日はお世話になりました。
this is a death fight. Oh no. Dude, everyone's RIPing. I mean, Yo's not dead, but definitely something bad happened to her. If Koji's gone, then it's literally only Dr. Tambo left. Okay. Kouji leaves a clear and concise message, explaining that he was brought by Fuminori to Professor Ogai's mountain retreat, giving the address and asking for confirmation that the property actually belongs to Ogai.
東京に戻ったら、またこちらから連絡します。では。
After hanging up, Kouji thinks back to their visit to the hospital. Is Dr. Tambo actually investigating like she said she would? The secret about Professor Ogai that she admittedly refuses to reveal is still weighing on his mind. He talked to Yo about it on the way home, but they were unable to decide whether the doctor could really be trusted. Speaking of which, how is Yo doing? Kouji hasn't seen her today. He didn't say a word to her about this trip to Tochigi. She might be worried, especially so soon after Omi's disappearance. Thinking to check up on her, Kouji dials Yo's number and is surprised when it keeps ringing longer than it usually does. Did she forget her phone somewhere? Just as he's about to give up, the call connects. The first thing Kouji hears is a strange sound. It's not signal interference, but some kind of wet, distorted noise, like a voiceless groans or perhaps sobs of someone far away. No, these are really sobs. Whoever is on the other side is crying in misery.
つくばなのか?
There's a response, but is that really Tsukuba's voice? It's too twisted with agony for Kouji to tell. Panic surges through Kouji as he realizes that something is terribly wrong.
コーチだ。殿Koujiだよ。つくばなのか? 今どこなんだ?
After a short period of nothing but pain moans, words start coming through the speaker one by one, as though each take an act of a will. Fucking trains, holy shit. I swear to God, they come whenever I'm recording. When I'm not recording, they definitely don't run as much as they do. So unlucky. Uh-oh. Yeah. What did she do to you, Yo? Yo must be delirious or something, because Kouji can't understand the thing that she's saying. Her gasps and wheezes, however, are enough to tell him that she is in unimaginable pain. Oh. Ew! Yo, no! Unable to make any sense of this, Kouji feels despair seizing his heart in an iron grip. What the hell is happening to Yo now, over 100 kilometers away? Only her voice gives Kouji any hint of what she's going through, and there's nothing he can do for her. Yo.
つくば、警察を呼べ。助けを呼ぶんだ。
Okay, so maybe Saya is making Yo like because she can change how an organism is. So she's making her look like a monster like her. So I wonder how Fuminori would see her actually. Would she look like the normal Yo, or would she look like a prettier version of Yo? But still, this is super fucked up. But I'm pretty sad. I liked Yo. She did literally nothing wrong. Except I just drove to the house after being really sketchy. Yo suddenly breaks off into a violent hacking cough, as though she's trying to expel something filling her throat. Dude, just run. This is just run and drive to Yo. I guess you wouldn't make it since you're probably like at least 2 or 3 hours away, right? Oh my god! Kouji screams into the phone, his reason overwhelmed by the unimaginable horror that is befalling Yo, which is why he is unable to react quickly when the phone is suddenly knocked out of his hand, and also why he didn't notice Fuminori sneaking up on him until it was too late. Fuminori seizes Kouji's lower jaw with his right hand, cutting off Kouji's angry shout. Kouji can hardly believe the strength of the smaller man's grip. Kouji's biggest mistake was leaning back against the well. Of course. With Fuminori forcing him backwards over the edge, there's nothing Kouji can grab onto. He can only flail his arms vainly against the air. Kouji soon loses his balance completely. He feels a terrifying weightlessness as the world spins before his eyes. Before he can realize that he's been pushed into the well, his bat strikes something with tremendous force. He thrashes wildly as cold, dirty water fills his mouth and freezes him to the core. I thought the well had no water in it. Donk. Only when his fingers find the walls of the well is he able to regain his sense of direction and right himself. On his hands and knees in the mud, Kouji vomits the filthy water out of his lungs. Although the mud cushioned his fall, he has more important things to worry about than being properly thankful for his good luck. He tries to shout, but it comes out as a hoarse groan made even harder to understand by the echoes bouncing off the walls. Fuminori's maniacal laughter, on the other hand, is clearly audible even at the bottom of the well. He says scornfully. Fuminori tosses Kouji's phone into the well. Kouji catches it just before it hits him in the face, but he finds the battery patch has been removed, rendering it useless. This is no joke. It's a miracle that Kouji is uninjured. If he landed the wrong way, he could have easily died. Wait, just because I'm hurt doesn't mean that. Kouji feels the inside of the well, searching for something to hold on to, but the mud-covered stone offers no purchase. It's obvious that he won't be able to get out without help. Are you serious? Kouji was about to ask, but the pieces have finally come together in his head. Today's sudden change in Fuminori's attitude, that smile that had always seemed somehow malevolent. Fuminori hadn't been smiling at Kouji, but at the thought of his friend's death. I called this, just saying, a while ago, when he first asked Kouji to drive. Yep, this is his transformation into a monster, I guess. Why? Even though he recognizes what has happened, he can't understand it. Why would Fuminori, who was supposed to be his friend, try to kill him? True, Fuminori wanted Kouji to stay out of his business, but is that really a motive for murder?
別段今すぐ殺す必要なんてなかったんだけどね。
Yeah.
もしかしたらお前は僕の邪魔をするようになりやすかもしれないし。
Yep, if he wants to hide, if he can't have Kouji who's investigating him.
せっかく人目につかないところまで出かけるんならついでにと思ってさ。
ついでにってお前そんな理由で俺を。
Oh, look at Koji's face. He's so sad. That's a terrible way to go if he does die. Trapped in a freaking dirty well. God damn.
お前死ぬのに理由が欲しいの？
Fuminori replies coldly, as though he's truly amazed that Kouji would ask such a thing.
何様のつもりだコージ。人は何の理由もなく死ぬんだよ。僕の両親がそうだったし、僕も危うくそうなりかけた。
むちゃくちゃだ。
そんなに理由が欲しいなら一人でじっくり考えない。そこでなら時間はたっぷりあるだろう。
Fuminori disappears from view, leaving Kouji alone in the darkness with nothing to connect him to the outside world.
Fuminori! Oi! Fuminori!
Kouji shouts at the top of his lungs, knowing beyond a doubt that if Fuminori leaves, all hope of rescue will vanish with him. No one will ever hear him calling for help from the bottom of the mountain well. I just realized that's not true. He left a voicemail to the doctor. What if the doctor actually comes and finds Kouji? Maybe he can be saved. I actually feel like that might happen, because if Kouji dies and Yo's monster-fied, I mean, there's not really much left as of the cast. So that, okay, I'm calling that now. Let's hope that happens.
つくばが大変なんだ。おい、Fuminori、聞いてくれ。ここから出してくれ。
In his desperation, Kouji no longer comprehends the futility of begging Fuminori for mercy. No god or devil will answer him. His only hope is that Fuminori will have a change of heart. As though praying for a miracle, he keeps calling Fuminori's name. Eventually, the sky becomes as dark as the bottom of the well, making it impossible for Kouji to make out the edge of the opening. He has long since lost track of how many hours he has been screaming. Nevertheless, he continues to scream, for he knows that the despair... Sorry, I'm choking on my own words. For he knows that the despair silence will bring won't kill him. That sounds weird as a sentence. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is Fuminori. Those are trees. Anyways, I think this is a good place to sign off. Yeah, even though it's shorter, it just feels good to finish off. It's kind of like a chapter in a book, I guess. But yeah, I called it. It seemed pretty obvious. Though I think Fuminori just pushing him into a well obviously will backfire on him if he does get rescued by the doctor. And he is going crazy, but he might be getting a little too arrogant. But I think next episode we'll probably see how Yo's doing. I think she's turning into a monster, which is, well, I was gonna say great, but no, it's horrible. But maybe she will look alright to Fuminori, which doesn't really help anything, but yeah, this was a pretty good episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the audio quality sounds a bit better. Yeah, I'll look into a microphone, but if this sounds like decent enough, then I'll probably like put it on hold for a while, just because I don't really think I need to spend the money for a hobby that's like, you know, I don't want to say it's not important, but it's just for fun. But maybe I'll upgrade in the future. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed recording. I actually hope it saves. As you can see, there's only 3 save files when I definitely had like at least 7 or something. I feel great. But yeah, thank you for watching again, and I will see you next time, hopefully. And have a good day. Bye!